Hello friends, welcome back to Vocab Builder. What if the world told you your talent was worthless? What if every door slammed in your face, every voice said you'll never make it? Would you give up? Now imagine this. A young girl from a forgotten corner of the city, with no money, no degree, and no support, turns her rejected art into a movement that touches thousands of lives. This is not a fairy tale. This is the true power of purpose, persistence, and pain. Welcome to a story that proves you don't need permission to chase your dream. You don't need a title, a degree, or a fancy studio to create something meaningful. All you need is heart and the courage to start. This is the story of Maya, an ordinary girl with an extraordinary fire inside her. A fire that refused to die, even when the world turned its back. So sit back, open your heart, and let Maya's journey remind you, you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. Maya was born in a forgotten part of the city where dreams didn't shine. They struggled just to survive. Her neighborhood was gray, crowded, and loud. But inside Maya's mind was a universe of color. While other kids played outside, Maya would sit by the window, sketching galaxies on old newspapers and transforming broken toys into sculptures. Her parents didn't fully understand her passion, but they supported her in the only way they could, by giving her space to create. Her father would bring home scraps of cardboard from the factory, and her mother would save bits of fabric and thread from her stitching work. By the age of 15, Maya had filled 3 suitcases with art, notebooks, sketches, cloth paintings, even murals on wood panels she found in trash bins. But when she showed her work to teachers, mentors, and local art spaces, she was met with the same response. Too strange, too bold, it doesn't fit what people want. She applied to several art schools. None accepted her. Heartbroken but not defeated, she took a job at a small cafe to help support her family. The pay was low, the hours long, and most nights she came home drained. But every night, without fail, she painted, sometimes until dawn. One night, after finishing a painting she was particularly proud of, a fiery phoenix rising from ashes, Maya stared at it for a long time and thought, why wait for someone to hang this in a gallery? Why not bring it out into the world myself? The next day, she carefully transferred the image onto an old white shirt using a brush and fabric paint. She wore it to work. To her surprise, people noticed. A few asked if she'd made it herself. Others said it looked powerful. Something clicked. With a little money saved up, she bought a few plain shirts and painted each one by hand. She didn't think of it as business. She thought of it as expression. She gave each shirt a name: Rebirth, Storm and Silence, Dream Runner, and quietly offered them to people who asked. At first, there were no takers. Then, someone finally bought one. Then another. Word began to spread, not through ads, not through fame, but through stories. People began wearing her art, and they felt connected to something deeper. Every shirt Maya created carried emotion. A roaring tiger with fire in its eyes represented courage in dark times. A design of floating lanterns stood for hope in the face of despair. Orders began to grow. Maya no longer had to work at the cafe. She converted a corner of her home into a workshop. She taught 2 young girls from her neighborhood how to paint and paid them fairly, helping them build confidence and skill. Soon, she had created a humble but powerful collective. A place where young, overlooked artists could find purpose and dignity in their work. But Maya never chased success. She chased meaning. She still handwrote a note with every shirt, sharing the story behind the design. One of her notes read, "For the ones walking through storms, may you never forget your fire." She began holding weekend workshops for children who couldn't afford art classes. She visited local schools and told her story. She reminded students that even if the world doesn't see their value right away, that doesn't mean they aren't valuable. Years passed. What began as one hand-painted shirt became a movement of expression, purpose, and courage. Maya's home turned into a small studio. then a shared creative space. Her designs were worn by people from all walks of life: students, farmers, teachers, travelers, all drawn by something deeper than fashion: authenticity. But even with all the growth, Maya remained grounded. She kept the first shirt she ever painted. She hung it on her studio wall, a reminder of where she came from. Moral: true success isn't found in approval or applause. It's found in purpose. Maya didn't wait for permission. She turned her rejection into fuel, her silence into art, and her pain into power. When no one opened a door for her, she built her own and left it open for others to walk through. If this story moved you, even just a little, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded of their worth. And if you want more powerful stories like this, filled with emotion, English learning, vocabulary growth, and life lessons, subscribe to Vocab Builder, where words don't just teach, they transform. Hit that like button, drop your favorite line from the story in the comments, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next voice that might change your life. Remember, your story isn't over yet. Keep building, keep growing, and most of all, keep speaking your truth.